Hey everyone, I'm Peggy and I'm here to talk to you about lyric writing. Lyrics might be the most difficult part of songwriting. Words can be really hard, and if you've clicked this video, you probably already, I bet you know this already. See? Luckily for you, I've got 5 tips to write gripping and emotional lyrics that'll grab your listeners and make them wish they were right there with you while listening to your songs. I mean, you know, metaphorically speaking. Let's get into it. The hard truth about writing lyrics, or anything for that matter, is that it takes time and practice. You gotta put the hours in to get better. It might be uncomfortable or challenging at first, but the more you try, the better you're gonna get at it. Tip 1. Writing exercises. To help you get started, I'm gonna show you some of my favorite writing exercises. I use these all of the time to get my brain going. Follow along in the comments. I wanna see what you're coming up with based on these prompts. The first writing exercise I want to show you is called hidden glosa. A glosa is a Spanish poetic form that takes 4 lines from an existing poem that you end up using to create a new poem. You end up filling in the blanks of another person's poetic world. Those 4 lines can appear anywhere in what I'm writing. Basically, I'll write until I run out of ideas, and then I'll throw in one of those 4 lines. This helps me generate new material and keep creativity coming. In the end, if I have some good original stuff, I'll get rid of the glossed lines, and then I'm left only with my own words. So here I already have the glossed lines I'm gonna use. They're from Easily Written Poem by Young Dong Ju. So I start with one of the glossed lines. Night rain whispers from outside the window. Then I continue on. A mocking turbulence against the wet leaves. I push my head deeper into down-stuffed pillows. Remember the glow of 9 p.m. sunsets. Now, lamp's light pushes against the dark just a little. I once held vacant a dimple in this bed. Just a suggestion. I am the final version of myself. The last bits of broken glass dug out. If only I could hold my breath the next 7 years, suspend mitosis, while waiting for morning to arrive like a new era. So you can see here, the glossed lines have really helped guide me and give me ideas, and I can pull from this original writing to write new lyrical content. Another writing exercise I want to show you is something I call random pairs. Sometimes it's just good to reach for words that you wouldn't normally think of yourself. For this, you'll pair a random word generator with a rhyming dictionary. I like to use randomwordgenerator.com and just have it prompt me with several words. Then I'll go to rhymezone.com and I'll pick some interesting rhyming words to pair with them. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the 4 words I pulled from the random word generator, and I'm gonna write them across the top of my page. Flexible, silver, damage, and kidnap. Then I'm gonna go to my rhyming dictionary and find a set of rhyming words that go with each of these. So for flexible, we have chemical, ethical, festival, and sensible. For silver, I'm gonna go with pilfer, familiar, filter, and kilter. For damage, we'll use manage, vantage, adage, and package. And with kidnap, let's pair nightcap, cold snap, overlap, and wiretap. So for instance, I can take a couple of these rhyming words like wiretap and overlap and write a rhyming couplet like I heard the click of wiretaps when you thought to overlap. And then we can continue that thought with some more of the words that we've picked here. Let's say locks of silver hair with what felt familiar. Now that you're all warmed up, prepped with rhymes, ready to scratch that pen across paper and come up with absolute lyrical brilliance, you have to stop and ask yourself, what am I saying? The best songs are always trying to tell a story or communicate an emotion. Before I get started, I like to take a few moments to reflect on what I'm trying to convey to my listener. That isn't always easy, so sometimes I'll let the first few lines of the song guide me. However, from there, I really need to take a pause and figure out what is the direction for the rest of the song. The important thing is to have a clear idea after the first few lines to have a strong foundation. Whenever I'm drawing blanks or I'm not sure what I'm writing about, I like to use what I call the layover technique. Get yourself a postcard-sized piece of paper and pretend you're on a long layover and you're writing a postcard to a friend or loved one. In such a short format, you'll really have to think about what details you want to convey to your loved one. This scenario can really give you a lot to work from. So, I'm gonna think of someone that really means a lot to me. Well, I was gonna use Anthony, but he didn't even bother showing up to this shoot. So instead, I'm gonna write to my dog, Edna. If I was ever away from Edna in an airport, I would be really sad and I would miss her. I think this is something anyone can relate to, which makes it a great starting point. Let's take a look. For this postcard exercise, I really like to emulate a real postcard. You really only have the tiniest bit of paper to write on. It helps you keep it brief and really think about what are the details you want to describe to your loved one. Then you'll have some really interesting, tight ideas to jump off from for your song. Tip 3 is a quick one, but an important one. Be a sponge. Absorb all there is around you. Let it sit in your head and then squeeze it out into the world.
Forcing yourself on the world. Aggressive squeezing.
The more you're listening to other music, watching films and TV, taking in art and culture, the more material and inspiration you'll have to draw from. I literally do this all the time. All the time. It fuels my being. I did this exact thing in a feature verse I made for my friends Dunham Dunham in their song Turn the Clocks Back. For that verse, I embodied the Empress Dowager Su Shi, and I used details from her reign to fill out the words that I was writing. For anyone that knows me personally, you know that I'm obsessed with watching Chinese dynastic dramas over and over again. It's basically my main inspiration in life. Tip 4 is show, don't tell. I could just tell the listener, I'm sad, or my feelings are not well. For instance, my feelings are not well, not well. These words are telling us about an emotion I'm feeling, but they're not describing much. Providing context for the feelings you have and using evocative imagery and concrete detail gives the listener a lot more to grasp onto. They're going to feel and put themselves in your shoes to try and understand why you're sad. They're going to experience it with you, and that's what makes a good story. One of my favorite examples of this is Mariah Carey's We Belong Together, which I've talked about many times on this channel before.
Done things crying, trying to figure out where the hell I went. Throwing things crying, trying to figure out where the hell I went. All the pain reflected in the song ain't even half of what I'm feeling inside.
Throwing things, crying, trying to understand. Not only is she saying that she's feeling all out of her element, she's giving you a picture of how she's behaving in her space and how she's embodying that feeling. Remember, lyrics are about showing a story, not telling a story. Give your listeners some substance and you'll have their heart forever. Tip 5, less is more, people. Be conscious of how much content you're cramming into your songs. Some of the most effective lyrics use very few words. Make use of melody and silence to communicate your meaning. Those are also really powerful storytelling tools. It was the famous jazz trumpeter Miles Davis that said, "In music, silence is more important than sound." A great example of this is Solange's song, Things I Imagined. Mostly through the whole song, she says, I saw things I imagined. Saw things I imagined. I saw things I imagined. Saw things I imagined. And she repeats it over and over again. It's a beautiful song, and she uses melodic changes and changes in her inflection throughout to create interest for her listener. Well, everyone, that's it for this video. I just know that these tips are gonna help you write your most expressive and emotional lyrics yet. If you're brave enough, post some of the lyrics you've written in the comments below, and the results of the writing exercises I had you try. Maybe if you're lucky, we'll try and turn them into a song. All right, bye. Happy songwriting to you. Edna, did you pass 100,000 subscribers on YouTube?